the virus was no more for a period of like 6 months, then it came back, then we can say that. But at a point in time, in all these global, in all these countries, in Europe, in US, and all over, and even in Asia, there has never been a time whereby they said the virus is finished. Even in New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, whether New Zealand or Australia, one of the two, that's the at a point in time that it was announced that there is no more case of virus, but that does not mean that that is the end. But later on again, there were cases, one or two. So there is nothing like second phase or second vac. The virus has been with us for all this while. It never went off. So meaning that it only there was a kind of break. It only went down. The curve, if you look at the curve went down, meaning that maybe the measures that were put together was effective as at that time. Then maybe after relaxing on some of those measures, then the virus is still coming up. That shows the virus was never off for maybe for a month or for a week. Even though it depends on the geographical location of each of the country, we can see that it is more focused. The propagation or the spreading is more in some regions than others. In instance, like in United States or United Kingdom, you can see that we can see more of these cases that is clustered in a place than of what they call it, the other parts of the country. So that shows that the virus never for one day went off or disappeared completely or dealt with completely. So it's just that it went on break, then it came back. So not like first phase or second vac. But unfortunately, that is the information that is going around. But that is my own personal opinion. I'm not saying I'm correct. Now, so we have to, the world leaders were supposed to come together so that the politics will not be, the game will not be all around to the extent that lives were lost and we aren't gotten the solution yet. No. So this is exactly what these these guys are talking about. Politics, in other words, can literally kill us, not even the virus. So I will advise you to lay your hands on that article, or if you get this book, there are a lot of information that I describe about this. Gentle guys. Is an article that you can even lay your hands on. Is online. You can read more about it. But they describe the situation in a very systematic way that we're supposed to be able to deal with the virus, and to the extent that by now we should have gotten out of this situation by now. And of course, when I say gotten out of the situation right now, I'm not saying that the virus should have disappeared completely, no. But at least there will have been some kind of confidence in one part that at least there is a vaccine or there is a drug or there is something else. And that is why I'm so much interested in this hydroxychloroquine that became so controversial. These are the things that these guys were talking about. Countries, global countries, big countries were supposed to come together and unfortunately we are having this kind of controversy again in science, in medicine, even though some of the professors have been saying it, that this is part of science. In science, there are debates, there are controversies in science. So science is not a permanent solution, and that is one thing that is very for some scientists. That is the uniqueness of science. For some scientists, they see it as uniqueness of science in the sense that there are controversies, there are issues. By the time someone brings this idea and is working, somebody will have to bring another thing, and there are counter reactions from one another. But is that what we need at this time of in this particular season? No. Why not come together and bring out something concrete for the world so that we can rescue lives? Even in United States, we saw some doctors were coming forth and shouting that talking about this the chloroquine, that it became so controversial to the extent that this particular doctor became a very controversial person as well. That who is she, where is she coming from, how long has she been working, where are the data, where are the information, what type of the tools was she using to give us information about all this. So you can see there were issues coming up, but for her, in her own side, she revealed what she did, the patient she had, and she gave them hydroxychloroquine, and the end result. The same thing happened to the professor in France too, that started with this hydroxychloroquine. That was the first person that declared it, and even his studies, he gave out the data, he gave out all the information. These are the drugs that he used for this so and so patient, and this is the result. Everything is there. There was no doctoring of the data or of the information. Everything was given out openly. Yet on the other hand, there were controversies, there were counter reactions, the side effects, the dosage, all this. And this is why epidemiologists, scientists were supposed to come together and resolve this problem once and for all. So for you, my viewer, I just want to ask this very simple question. Do you think science has solutions to our problem, even if all these big professors that were well known with their past works that are very important to the world, and they are still one person will come on the show saying something, another person will come on the show and say something, at the end of the day they see it as the beauty, uniqueness of the science? Is that what we need? When people are losing confidence, even to the extent that the issue of of testing for the vaccine, were people ready to be used for the trial of for the test? These are questions that we should ask ourselves. Now, so that is what all these gentlemen talk about. Now, before I proceed to another interesting part of it, let me read. Let me go to page. I should be page what? Then page 20. Yeah. Now, I just want to okay, before I come to that, I think I mentioned it in the last episode that even at the time, the United States president was at a point in time, he called this virus Chinese virus, and it became it turns out to be another issues entirely. And at a point in time, there was this rift between the United States and the World Health Organization, and the expectations that they were expecting from the WHO, World Health Organization, and some other things as such. But and at the end of the day, we are seeing the president coming on the Twitter and sharing all this information that we're supposed to be that may create some kind of fragility in the world, and to the extent that things might not be be going as it was supposed to be. Don't forget the fact that he is a world-class president, number one quote in the world. So if he's saying a word, it goes around and it means a lot of things. So why can't he do a lot of things to avoid instigating the society, bringing confusion around the world? And he was supposed to come out and give some kind of succor and confidence to the world and build the morale of people not even for United States and other parts of the world, other parts of the countries around the world. Now, so why will he now call it Chinese virus? I don't want to go into detail. I think we talked about it last time too. And at the end of the day, there were a lot of comments on the social media, even in newspaper, that were tagging the United States president as someone that is not, all these negative, words that were used against him, which I think is not really good for the world at this time at this period of time when we are facing this serious challenge and problem. Now, I want to take another interesting part of it now, which is, what really happened with the World Health Organization in all these issues? Have they been able to have they come out to perform very I've been able to perform very well? I'm asking you this question. I want you to be the one to judge. I'm not judging, and that is why I said this particular book was not judging anyone. Yeah, you have to understand that fact. That is why by the time you lay your hands on the book, you will discover that no judgment was passed. No country was said to be the best in resolving or dealing with the virus. No country was had the worst situation so far, no. But it analyzed the critical moments that each of these countries passed through, and this is where I concentrated the efforts in putting it so that people can really assess it and view it from their own perspective. So you have your own perspective to review whether it was well dealt with or not, and where we're supposed to have some kind of improvement or some kind of support to make it better. So you are the one to judge, not me. So my one is just to bring all these essential points together. I don't want to go into depth about that too, because WHO is a World Health, according to the name World Health Organization, meaning that is the number one body that oversee and promote healthy living among all the countries around the world. Formulating policies, because there are resources that so as to go into researching about how to deal with one disease or the other, and the way to ameliorate or to improve on things around the world, most especially in healthcare system, both for human resources and infrastructure as well. So what were their roles? They played a very important role because this is their field, this is their area that world is expecting a lot of expectation were expecting from them. So they have to come out and play their own major role and major parts to in providing. But we should not forget the fact that when these incidents happened, they were informed and they came out and they shared the information to the world. It was not kept to themselves, and as the event unfolds, they also monitor the event, and they were giving bulletin information day in day out on how it is happening, because they have they have members, they have people around the world where they can get information, extract information from them. So they were actually on the field in each country around the world, and they try to do their best, but they can still do better with what they did so far. And I would like to say kudos to the Director General of World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros. I'm sorry, the other name, but I prefer to use the word Tedros. So kudos and to your team for coming out, because they come out on regular basis information, and because this is the organization, this is the organization that we can listen to so as to get information, especially from what is happening in other parts of the world. If you know exactly what is happening in your country with your own local television and the Ministry of Health, to get information of other countries, you need to listen or follow what health organization work, and the past information comment at every point in time. So there were some areas that I also talk about what health organization in this book, so you can read more about that. Before I end this particular show, I'm still going to, there will be another, I don't know whether there will be two or the last one, I'm not really sure yet, but I will still confirm that. But this I can assure you is not the last part, because I've not talked about chloroquine, especially the controversy around it. So I'm still going to have another show that we are going to discuss about that. I'm trying to also see if I can have some guests too, so that we can talk about that. But for now, for this particular book, these are the things we discussed. Excerpt from the French president, and few words that he also talked about. Now, April 16, 2020, the president of Republic of France, that is Emmanuel Macron, had an exclusive interview with Financial Times, where he joined the other global leaders on insincerity and secrecy of information of China response to COVID-19. That is quite, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very big issue, because at a point in time, world leaders were saying that China dealt with the virus well. The response was very adequate. Nobody challenged that. But on the other hand, the world leaders were not really sure on how the China was able to deal with this virus. That they believe there was some information that were being kept. That was a kind of secrecy from the Chinese government, not revealing exact way. Aside for that error in connection. So aside from the fact that there were all the most important one that is very open to everybody, there was lockdown, of course, use of mask, of course. The hospitals and things were equipped. In fact, at a point in time, they got support from neighboring countries, and so that they were able to deal with the virus at that particular moment, and it was very, very effective. Very effective, no doubt about that. The whole world knows exactly that Chinese government dealt with the virus very severely, and it gave us a very good result, because even after that, some months later, we saw how people were coming out in Wuhan, because that is where the virus started. In Wuhan, even without mask, and they were moving around. Some people were using masks and some were not using masks, but people were moving around. The town that was locked for some months, that was like a dead a cemetery, a dead country. But now we are seeing it how it's coming up live, and it's very astonishing, it's very surprising. But on the other hand, the global leaders believe that China did not give exactly how they dealt with the virus. Aside from the ones that were seen openly, there was some information that were hidden, and that is why the French government, as at that on April 16, Mensch said it. He was not the only one that said it. Some other countries said it too. Even before that time, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, said similar thing on that. So he said that insinuated that the Chinese government cannot be glorified as some countries did because there are many questions that need answers, and the way the government responded. That is Emmanuel Macron speaking there. Earlier, Donald Trump had accused the Chinese government of secrecy on the method adopted in managing the virus too. Now, this is I want to read, quote, I want to quote the statement of President Emmanuel Macron. He said, quote, "Let's not be so naive as to say China, in bracket, has been much better at handling this. We don't know. There are clearly things that have happened that we don't know about." End of the quote. It's so kindly lay your hands on this book. Is, as you know, as you are reading from one page to another, you want to know more, but I will leave you to go and do more and find out more about how it is. Can you imagine that kind of statement? That is from the president. So even as the China did well in managing this virus, there was some information that were not released that we don't know. That is a kind of secrecy. Even though, of course, there were a lot of analysis was done on that, because the type of governance that is taking place in China is not the same thing as all other countries. It's not as democracy as that, but so there are a lot of secrecy and things in China that were not really open to all. But can you lay your hands on the book? It's highly informative and very, very, it's fully loaded. Even myself, and as I continue to read again, I that is for people that are so inquisitive, that want to know exactly why do we have this kind of problem, and why is it a problem for us to deal with it? That's why some of us are so inquisitive, like, how long are we going to continue with this? How long? Why do we need to be playing politics? Why is everything about politics? If you and I should put hands together, are we not going to get a common, a result, quick result on a common goal? So why should I not say, you stay on your side, I stay on my side, then let each other one? Because we want to show how powerful we are, considering the fact that something is at risk. So you want to know, and you want to harness all this information. Kindly lay your hands on the book, and it's quite interesting, so that we want to know exactly where we are coming from and where we are going. That is all about all this. So I will come up on another time so that we discuss about the controversy of hydroxychloroquine, because I discuss about it in this book. I want to know exactly on which chapter. That should be on the on chapter. Okay, in chapter 4. In chapter 4, I have some other two areas. So I talk about politics and controversies of hydroxychloroquine. That is in chapter 4 here. Politics and controversies of hydroxychloroquine. I'll be coming up on the show, and we're going to discuss about that next time again. Lay your hands on grab a copy. It's fully, you never regret having the book. Before I end the show again, I would like to appeal to the Nigerian youth to kindly be mindful of people that, especially the hoodlums that are perpetrating evils around, destroying people's property. This is uncivil. This is not civilized. This, of course, we know that when a protest, a peaceful protest is taking place, we have some people that want to use the opportunity to perpetrate their own evil. In every society, it comes across the world. It's everywhere. But people that are destroying things are also Nigerians and are youths. Does it make sense to them when some individuals are protesting for a better a better Nigeria? while some others are also destroying things, whether they were paid for or they were not paid for. Whatever the reason may be, is it logical? It's not. That shows they are not doing the right thing. They were supposed to join people that were protesting peacefully. Because if the protest goes in a positive way, it will also have impact on their own life too. They will not be Omoita, as rightly called, the street boys. Why should be a street boy? You're supposed to be better in your life too. You're supposed to be in a good place too. You're supposed to have a better education. Nobody, the governor does not have two heads. The president does not have two heads. The president was not a street boy. The governor was not a street boy. What thing did he do specially that it makes him to not be different? What did he do differently that did not make him to be very special? You were supposed to join them too. You were supposed to join them too. This is not my topic for the day. That is why this particular event is in support of End SARS, End Police Brutality. We are supposed to come together. This is our country, and we are supposed to protect the country. And it's very, 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 very bad. I'll be coming up your way with another interesting package, but don't forget, be careful, be watchful, and be mindful. We are supposed to come together to make the world a better place for all of us. The world is for all of us. Don't forget to follow me on my YouTube page. Follow, comment, share, subscribe, so that you can see new videos that are being released. But I know some people have been sending me questions. Am I not having another guest? Come on, I have some full package already. I am coming with some special guests that are quite interesting. But when it's time, I will reveal them to you. Thank you. Stay blessed and goodbye. And this month is Mental Health Month, October. Are you okay today? God bless you. Bye.